Come with me to run the South Hams Way, 101 miles through the South Devon countryside. Hi, I'm Shauna, this is Shauna's World. Welcome back to my channel where I make videos for regular runners showing the raw, unfiltered journey. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Shauna's World. I'm here today on a fast packing adventure. I'm at the start point of the South Hams Way, going 101 miles over 5 days. I've got all my camping gear on my back and I'm going to be seeing parts of South Devon I haven't seen before. So I'm starting here in Totnes. So I live in Totnes. This is literally a 5-minute walk from my front door, and first stop is Buckfastleigh. So the route starts literally on my most familiar running route that I do nearly every day, running from Totnes up to Dartington. I have my freeze-dried camping food making an outrageously annoying noise. I think I'm gonna have to start eating that because 5 days of that is gonna drive me absolutely bonkers. 1 kilometre down, only about 162 to go. I'm already finding it really challenging running with the heavy pack. I weighed the pack, it's about 13 kilograms with all my food and water, so it's pretty heavy. So a bit about the South Hams Way. So it's a national trail and it was actually only set up in September of 2025. So it's really quite new. A circular starting in Totnes and then going up across Dartmoor down to the coast along the southwest coast path to Dartmouth and then back up to Totnes. It's divided into 10 sections when people are walking it, but because I'm aiming to move a bit quicker than that, I'm doing it in 5 sections. Okay, let's get going. I'm only about 2.5 kilometres in and I'm feeling pretty sick. I'm not good at running in the mornings generally, and I have had issues with throwing up in the morning when I run early. Also, sorry if this is TMI, but every runner knows if you're going out for a long run, you want to have a poo in the morning. And I was unsuccessful. And I know there are some public toilets coming up ahead and I really hope they're open. Once you're going to be out in nature and all you have is a trowel and a bum gun, it's not quite as pleasant. Okay, yes, we have the South Hams Way on the right track. I guess this is the path that goes up to Buckfastleigh, and I've just had confirmation from my friend who lives in Buckfastleigh that I can stop in there. I'm navigating with the GPX file on my watch and it keeps telling me I'm going wrong, but when I check on OS Maps it is actually right, so that's a bit annoying. Distance aim for today is 37.2 kilometres. Should be no problem to do that in a full day of daylight, but I know I'm a faffer. Okay, going through the woods now, and oh, wet feet. It was bound to happen, might as well get it over with. So I got a lot of info for this trail from watching the YouTube videos of a hiker whose channel is I Wander UK, and he created some really detailed videos of the South Hams Way, and it was because of him I got the information I needed about river crossings and ferry crossings that I'm gonna have to skip. But one thing he did say, him feeling like the trail is not waymarked enough. Like I have seen a good number of way markers, but you couldn't just rely on that. I'm just coming up to about 5 kilometres in, so not travelled far at all, but feeling really hungry already. Yeah, that's 5k just hit there, and yeah, I feel so well this morning, but I don't want to blitz through all my food too quickly. So this here, we're coming up to Staverton. We've got a lovely view over the Dart, an excellent steam railroad here. So I've just turned off from where Staverton Railway is and gone up a little country lane, cracking out the snacks already. I've got an Eat Natural blueberry and cashew bar. There we go. Oh, I don't really fit in this gate. Got it. Okay, we have another waymark here on this sign. I'm about 8k in. I think I've got about 4.5k to get to Buckfastleigh. Turning off onto a footpath. Oh, we're a bit uphill, so let's trudge up here.
There are lots of these caravan communities on the sides of paths and roads around South Devon. It's something I've romanticised when it's so hard to live off-grid, but I know it isn't as idyllic as it might seem, with people occasionally getting uprooted and losing their homes. But I'm glad people can live in homes like that. It's quite rare in the UK.
I'm actually taking a little detour off the trail now to go to my friend's house. It's only about a mile away from where I am now, so I'm just heading down there and then I'll jump back on the trail. It'll be nice to have a little bit of company, refill my water, sort myself out. So that road got hellish, and then I was in a lay-by and someone just pulled over and was like, where are you going? I can take you. Just gave me a little lift up the road, like not that far at all. Such relief, because there wasn't really a side on that road and there were kind of trucks going by. I stopped at Leanne's house here, and Leanne has been the most amazing trail angel. We've had coffee, chats, toast. You always wanted to be a trail angel, didn't you?
Yeah, this has been a great day to be a trail angel.
I'm back out and on the trail, running alongside the gorgeous river. That was such a nice little interlude. 25 kilometres to go to Ivy Bridge tonight. What time is it now? So it's 10 a.m. now. I feel like I should be able to get to Ivy Bridge no problem. There probably will be some faffing. I'll have to stop for lunch at some point. But I feel like I'm doing relatively well time-wise. Bit chilly now, being in a nice warm house and then getting back out again, having not been moving. But let's get back to it. Okay, we are up and out of Buckfast Lee. Southam's Way here, through this gate. Oh, this is going to be another one that's trickier with my backpack. This doesn't move. Okay, we just a little bit precarious, but we got it. Daffodils all starting to emerge. Going through gorgeous woodlands now. A lot of the last section I did know a little bit, but this section is all new to me. Pretty much until I get to Ivy Bridge. I know a bit of the area around Ivy Bridge. Day one going Totnes to Ivy Bridge is the most elevation of the whole Southam's Way, so I've got a lot of it weighted towards today, and there's been nothing major so far, but I've just been on this really gradual uphill for quite a while, which means I can't run carrying the pack, like I just can't. Okay, this bit looks a bit flatter. We have South Brent in 4.5 miles, which is the next kind of village I will come across. I've got about 20 kilometres to go to Ivy Bridge, but I am feeling pretty good about time because I'm fairly close to halfway through the distance, but it's not halfway through the day yet. Okay, my watch was just beeping at me, and I think I actually came the wrong way at that South Brent side. Yeah, I see a Southam's Way marker. Right, I am very much in the wilds of Dartmoor now. I think this is my first time coming all the way to Dartmoor from Totnes on foot. We're still on a gentle incline, so taking it slow. There've been a few raindrops this morning, just kind of threatening rain, but nothing worth getting the waterproof out for. There is also some quite bright sunshine forecast in the next few days, so hopefully I'll be seeing that. I am flagging a bit, and I think that is partly how hard it is to follow a path on Dartmoor. My watch keeps beeping at me because I think I'm on the path, and then I'm like, okay, there's definitely no path here. There's lots of things that look like paths. I'm just trying to kind of keep in the direction. That over there is Avon Dam Reservoir. It's midday and I'm just over the halfway point. I'm gonna have a sandwich, I'm gonna have some lunch. I'm getting a bit hungry and gotta make sure I keep fueling. I think I'd underestimated how the hunger would be. I mean, I had toast at Leanne's house, which, you know, I'm not going to have on the other days, so it just feels good to take the bag off. I'm going to try and spend no more than 5 minutes here, eat a bit of sandwich, and then if I haven't finished my sandwich I will carry on walking and eating it because I don't want to slow down. I have been walking, started out at about 7:20 this morning, and then it's now midday, so that's like 4 hours 40 minutes plus I stopped at Leanne's for maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, I'm not sure. But I did start out faster because I was on familiar terrain, a lot of it was on paved areas, and I was feeling fresh. I think I'll be a lot slower this afternoon, but I have 6 hours until it gets dark. Peanut butter and jam sandwich, I made these up, one for every day I'm out on the trail. It is quite a bulky pack, but it's easy, I don't have to prepare anything, and I can just eat on the go. Right, back out again after lunch. I still feel a little bit hungry, to be honest, but that did replenish me. Dartmoor ponies, wild horses, Avon Dam Reservoir from the other angle, and a nice runnable path. Fantastic pothole. So I'm off the very tops of the moors for now and on a kind of path road going down the middle of the moors. Very runnable, very easy after all that tough underfoot and tough to navigate. The sun is out, it is beating down on me, it's warm. It's early March right now, so not unusual to have sun, but we started January and February with something like 40 days and nights of rain, like some biblical plague. And it was very depressing. I feel like this has been a winning day for the weather so far. Long may it continue. So we've got a Dartmoor map and I'm here at Shipley Bridge. I'm gonna go have a pause on the picnic bench because I've just hit the point where I have 15 kilometers to go. So that last 5k I feel like I covered really quickly. I'm gonna put some sun cream on, have a little regroup and not take too long. Okay, South Brent. We are going this way. Okay, we're turning off the road again into what looks like more woods. Just a reminder of how important fueling is. I was really flagging before lunch, and then since lunch I have felt so good, pretty much euphoric, and the easier terrain has helped, but also I just feel absolutely supercharged right now. Well, I have less than 12 kilometers to go. I'm still feeling really good. Just coming through South Brent. And we're going back. Oh, mud. I am experiencing some lower back pain where the bump in my backpack is digging in. I had this on my last fast packing trip. I tried to get it fixed. My friend did their very best with it. They did say it was imperfect and it had flattened out, but once I filled the pack up with stuff again, the bump just kind of popped out again, and it is causing me some pain, but it is manageable at this point. Less than 10k to go. Yeah, it's not even 2 o'clock yet, so I definitely slowed down. Still good morale. Some of these turn-offs off the road are very easy to miss. Southham's Way! I think that is a path or a desire line. I'm putting it out to the universe right now that I'd quite like to come across a bench. Does it just mean cars or does it mean people too? Well, I hope it just means cars. Oh, they're a little bit curious. A little bit curious. This one's guarding a fort like a troll under the bridge. Hi, I'm just gonna keep talking to you. There we go. So I ordered from the universe a nice place to sit for a little while, a bench or a rock or a log, and it served me with this lovely mossy wall. While I'm paused here, I'm going to try this Phoenix bar. So I got these flapjacks because they are really high calorie. I'm wondering how it's going to taste when it is so dense. This is the salted caramel one. It tastes really good. You can tell there's a lot in there. Oh, it's not enjoyable putting the pack back on. I feel like I've aged about 30 years in the last 7 hours. Putting the front pouch on is a boring task, and I don't like doing all the clippy things, but I really like having the front pouch. Southham's Way. Oh, we're on this side. Whoops. I recognise this entry to this field. I might be mixing it up, but I think I might have been here before. We have sheep. We have sunshine. I'm heading up Ugborough Beacon now, which is the biggest climb of the whole trip. It's pretty full on, but I've had many a happy climb up Ugborough Beacon before, so it's bringing back joyful memories. So the view from the top of Ugborough Beacon. Okay, I think I need to be on the other side. I think this will do. I want to get over to that bit there, but I don't know if that's too far to jump with my pack on. Oh, I'm scared. No, it's not deep and it's not far, but what if I slip and bang my head? What if I slip and bang my head? Oh, yes! I'm proud of myself for that. I mean, it wasn't that hard, but it felt hard in the moment. Right, less than 5k into Ivy Bridge now. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I should be there by 4:30. I'm going pretty slowly, but that's still pretty generous. I feel like that sheep has a dog's face. Less than 4k to go. I feel like I've picked up the pace a little bit. The sun's shining. I've got about 2k left into Ivy Bridge. It's 4 o'clock now, plenty of time. So what I'm gonna do is go find where I want to set up camp. I know there's a spot I've got my eye on that I saw a couple of years ago running down that way for the first time, and I was like, oh, I'd love to camp here and dip in the river. But I'm gonna scope out my spot in the light, drop a pin so I don't lose it, and then go get some food somewhere. And then as the sun's going down, I'll go back to the spot where I've dropped the pin, get my tent up. I think I'm coming off Dartmoor very shortly. Oh yeah, it is this way. We are coming off the moors, off the footpath, and we must be very close to Ivy Bridge Centre here. I got to my waypoint for the day and I've stopped my watch. I'm just going to rest here and then going to go find a camping spot.
I ended the day on 44.9 kilometres covered, 1,150 metres of elevation gain and around 9.5 hours of activity time. That can be taken with a pinch of salt, as I didn't stop my watch on any breaks or the short lift I hitched, but it's a ballpark idea.
Okay, I'm just heading into the woods to scope out where I'll camp for the night. I am feeling really nervous about it. I'm a nervous wild camper. I really used to be, and then I got better, and then I had a harassment incident that made me feel quite anxious about it again. But needs must. I keep telling myself all the logical things, and you're safer here than you are in a city. And yeah, I'm glad I'm going to scope it out first, then go get some food and come back to it.
I knew the spot I remembered was really close to this fabulous viaduct, so I must be close.
Okay, I think this is where I'm going to camp. I don't know, it is quite close to civilization, but it's a nice spot as long as I pitch late, leave early. And the spot has a great view of the viaduct. I'm not feeling 100% that that's the best place, but I feel good about it. And I'm going to go find some food and some coffee. I'm absolutely clucking for a coffee.
I had a wonderful halloumi burger, chips and decaf coffee in the Tree Hill Arms in Ivy Bridge, enjoying the relaxation after a really satisfying first day of fast packing. But anxiety was building around the camping. It was a couple of years since the incident where I was harassed in my tent, and I'd managed to carry on camping for the rest of that through hike, but I hadn't camped out alone since being back in the UK from that, and my nervous system was feeling so resistant.
You may have noticed that I am not, in fact, in my tent in the woods. I ended up coming to an Airbnb. Yeah, so I scoped out that camp spot, which looked beautiful. I remember seeing it years ago running there and thinking it was beautiful, but then going back I was like, I don't remember it being this close to the town. And then when I was going through the town looking for somewhere to eat, you know, I had two groups of people taking the piss out of me for like walking around with a backpack. There were England flags flying everywhere, which obviously doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is intimidating. And I was just feeling anxious and getting bad vibe about camping in the spot I was planning to camp in. And then I just decided last minute to book a B&B. And then I got to the B&B and I'd booked it last minute on booking.com. The hosts hadn't seen the booking, so I arrived and they weren't expecting me. They didn't have a room ready or anything, but they like just sorted everything out and they were really welcoming. But it was just a bit awkward. I'm glad I'm here, but I also feel a bit of a sense of disappointment that I've let my anxiety win. Yeah, I'm trying not to look at it as a failure. I'm trying to look at it as making a good decision for my nervous system. I really did have a good time out there today. I do have quite a lot of pain, like bruising feeling on my lower back, but other than that my body feels pretty good, and I'm just gonna enjoy this night in a B&B while I'm here. It's a new morning and day 2 of the South Hams Way. I'm feeling really low and really tired, which I know is to be expected when I've run approximately marathon distance yesterday. But to be honest, given that I slept in a bed and had a really comfortable night, I've had a good breakfast, I just thought I'd be feeling better by now, and I'm feeling so depleted physically and mentally. And it's only been one day. I had quite a bad run of sleep leading up to this challenge. My heart rate variability had been low. Following getting really stressed about wild camping and coming to an Airbnb, I also started stressing about the other nights of wild camping and ended up booking a campsite for tonight, which is quite a way off the trail, but
I just feel safer. But that makes today into another long day. That would put it at a 37-kilometre day with getting off the trail to the campsite, and that feels a lot. I'm already starting later than I did yesterday. I'm also aware the campsite that I've booked for tonight is only a few miles from where I'm staying now, because the correct route going via the South Hams Way goes kind of all around the coast, and it does look so beautiful. And then I would go over to Mothercombe, where I had planned to wild camp, but instead, I'll just go from there inland to the campsite that I've booked. But I'm kind of up above it, and I could just go directly there. And I think if I do that, I will be disappointed. But I also just don't feel like I have 37 kilometres in me. I've got a good few kilometres before I'd need to make that decision. So I think I'm just going to head out and see how I feel once I get going. Oh, I was just so on top of the world yesterday when I was running, and now I'm just feeling so low. And I want to do the whole thing. I want to do the trail as properly as possible, but at the same time I think there is a part of me that, because I'm filming it and I know I'm going to be sharing it, it's like, oh, I really want it to be the actual trail. But actually at the same time I want to be an advocate for doing things in a way that works, because if I'm not going to enjoy it, no one benefits. And I think it's really important to adapt things according to how you feel and what is the right thing for you at the time. So I'm trying not to let the kind of purity get on top of it. I wasn't going to be doing the trail absolutely purely anyway, because I now have to get a taxi past some river crossings. So that actually helps. And I'm not a purist anyway. I just want to make sure that whatever decision I make is coming from what I want and not from what I think people want to watch. Right, before I head back out to do probably an adjusted route for today, I'm going to do some surgery on my backpack. Basically, there's like a really big bump that's digging in and causing me a lot of pain. So I'm going to try and cut that bit of the foam out of the backpack. We have first aid scissors. Okay, the scissors are clearly not great. There's a whole layer of like thick plastic underneath, but this is actually the underneath bit, the hard bit that's digging in. I don't think there's a lot I can do about that. Okay, I'm up and out and later than expected. I'm really not feeling great, but I'm back. I've just found the South Hams Way again. I feel really quite sick and just exhausted, but hoping things pick up as I move along. Great way to start the morning. Nerd. So I've just started out with some hiking through muddy fields, and now I'm on a country lane. Despite still feeling sick and in pain, morale has picked up quite a lot. So I've got a few options for today, and one is that I do the 37 kilometres to follow the path and get to my campsite, and I think it's just too late in the day to do that, and especially with how bad I'm feeling. The second is to go direct to the campsite and just go straight from here and hike down to the campsite and ignore the whole of the trail I was supposed to be doing, and that would only be less than 8k. And then the other option, and the one I think I'm most likely to go with, my running coach helped me map out a 10-mile route that goes part way along the trail but then cuts back into the campsite, so I have a nice day out and still plenty of time to rest afterwards. That's what I'm feeling most drawn to. But I think what I have to do in order to enjoy the day fully is really give myself permission to hike all or most of it. And I know fast packing is mostly hiking with a little bit of jogging thrown in there, but the way I'm feeling right now, running at all doesn't feel very doable, which is fine, but I'm kind of feeling quite negative about it, partly because next year, in celebration of turning 40, I'd been hoping to do a multi-day desert ultra in Jordan, and I haven't told anyone. Where am I going? There we go. I went a bit the wrong way on that main road. But yeah, I want to do this desert ultra. It's, I think, 200 or 250k over 5 days, and I don't know if that will be realistic for me to do. And part of wanting to do a multi-day fast packing adventure like this, partly for the fun, but also just to see how I get on with running multiple days in a row. And turns out I struggle, which is okay, but at the same time it's making me think, am I going to be able to do the race I really want to do to celebrate my 40th next year? As if there's just a peacock. Hi peacock, you are beautiful. And some chicken friends. Okay, this is genuinely really quite beautiful.
Nice to see the primroses out. I think I just passed the turn-off for the route I would need to take if I was going to take the very shortest and most direct route to the campsite, and I've decided I definitely am going to go for that 16k 10-mile route instead. And I'm not entirely sure it's the right decision because I am feeling very sick still. It's actually gotten a little bit worse, but I'm on the lookout for a nice bench or rock or wall or log, have a bit of a regroup, maybe eat something, although I did have a really decent breakfast at the B&B this morning, which I was very grateful for. There it is. That is my rest spot. I'm gonna sit on that log, have a little wee sit down. Oh, it smells really well garlicky. Ooh. Ow, everything hurts. Everything hurts. What's that? I suddenly felt the urge to run a little bit. Don't mind if I do. The sun's out and suddenly I am feeling sick still. I do have pain still, and that's okay. I just suddenly felt compelled to run after feeling very exhausted, very rubbish, and I don't know how long it'll continue, but I am here for it. Okay, so according to that side, Holberton is 1 3/4, Yarmpton's 1 1/4 the other way. I am actually camping near Holberton, but going over towards Yarmpton and looping back round. The teeny tiny little bit of jogging was short-lived. I started feeling queasier even than before, so I have slowed to a walk again, but it felt good while it lasted. I mean, this used to be sandwich shaped. It's going to make for a very dense lunch, mushed up peanut butter and jam. Oh, the daffodils, that is super joyful. So this that I'm walking along I think is called Mill Leat, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm stopping here just for a wee pause, not because I actually need a break, but because this is such a beautifully located bench and I just think it would be rude not to stop here. Just coming out of Yarmpton into another very nice woods. I think soon I'm going to be turning off the South Hams Way. I have mixed feelings. I'm still not feeling great, but I do feel disappointed that I am missing what is supposed to be a very gorgeous stretch of trail. But I should get some good coastal hiking in tomorrow and the next day, and I know it's important to meet myself where I am. I'm so glad there's some beaming sunshine. When I was watching the videos of I Wander UK who hiked this trail, he did it in September I think, and all his shots, it was so sunny, blue skies, so pretty, and I was like, oh, first week of March, I'm very unlikely to get that lucky with the weather, and here I am feeling very grateful for that. We've got a good incline here. It's the first kind of decent climb of the day. It's been kind of undulating as we go, but this is a pretty good climb. I don't feel very good. I'm still feeling queasy, not as queasy as some moments. It's really up and down, but my body is feeling really battered, which, you know, given that I've been going so slowly and just walking today, frankly feels quite unfair. I've only got about 5.5k to my campsite, but I'm also struggling to not get disheartened by how battered I feel and how hard I'm finding it when I have done a very much shorter day than planned. Okay, I clearly am still on the South Hams Way. I thought I'd turned off it by now because I'm actually getting pretty close to the campsite, but actually I guess it goes pretty close to the campsite. I mean, I am still missing out a whole load of it. Very muddy. Got about 2.5k to go to the campsite. So I'm meant to be going to this campsite, South Devon Wild Camping. It's obviously not wild camping because it's a paid campsite, but it's probably given the feeling of wildness, but I cannot find where it is. According to the map, I'm right by it. I think I need to get to this road, which is the other side of this hedge, but I can't figure out how to get out. All the gates are locked and it's all hedges at the side. This is looking vaguely promising. It really looks like no one's ever been through here. This is probably not right, but if I can just figure out where I'm going. Well, it turns out I was in completely the wrong place. I'd searched on Google for South Devon Wild Camping, located that spot on OS Maps, but that's actually not where it is. And then I had to go find the website and it said put in the postcode. I did that and it's like a 15-minute walk away and a spot I passed quite a while ago. Okay, so this is nice, this is good. I should have actually read the directions.
South Devon Wild Camping is essentially the back garden of this enormous mansion with stables, and you book and pay online, but there are no staff. They just say pitch up anywhere you like by the lake.
How gorgeous is that? And there's no one here. I haven't seen a single other person.
I got my tent up and had a little look around. While the location was stunning, I thought the £25 I paid was a lot for a night when it seemed like there were no amenities, no compost toilets, no showers, and not even a tap to fill up your water, so I had to filter lake water. However, I looked back on the website later to see reviews about how lovely the hot showers and the toilets were, so there is a strong chance I was, in fact, in the wrong place.
Tent is up, I'm settling in, it's about 5 o'clock. I'm gonna just warm myself up, put on some layers because it is getting a bit chilly out. I'm about to make dinner. I'm gonna have a fire pot meal, mac and greens. I just have to boil water, add water.
As I prepared dinner, I tried to enjoy the solitude and the peaceful setting, but there was a general feeling of unease niggling at me. I had no phone signal, which I tried to embrace as a chance to feel fully present, but if I'm honest, I was feeling a little unsettled that I wouldn't be able to ask anyone for support if things got too much. But I kept leaning into the gratitude of being out on the trip, getting to do the thing I love most, a holiday I'd looked forward to for ages, even if it felt like things weren't going to plan. Because that's the point of adventure, right?
It's only 8 p.m. and I'm about to go to bed. I'm really tired. It's been a tough day today. A lot harder than yesterday, despite the fact that I was walking and it was less than half the distance. But I covered about 21k all in today. I got it done, I had some good moments. Right, sleep, and hopefully I'll feel strong and recovered by tomorrow. Good morning!
It was a pretty horrendous night. I barely slept and my brain was playing some scary tricks on me and I was managing extreme fear and confusion through the night. But when morning arrived, I managed to compartmentalise and made a fairly unconscious decision to put it to one side so I could have a great day on the trail.
Right, I'm up and out. It's quite late, it's like 9 o'clock, but I'd planned a bit of a later morning this morning because there's a really nice breakfast place in Mothercombe, which is where I was originally going to camp until I got scared and decided to find a campsite. And that place doesn't open till 10. And then after that, I'm getting a taxi to Bantham. So that is because there is a river crossing just by Mothercombe that you have to do at low tide. And I can't really time my day around that and get to my next spot in time. And then there's another river crossing a little bit further on. And that one, there's a ferry that goes between April and September. But it is currently March, so the ferry's not running. And I decided I'd get a taxi past that kind of 7-mile chunk, and then I think the taxi will drop me off at Bantham and I'll pick up from there and carry on to Salcombe. I actually have an accommodation, I have a hotel booked in Salcombe for tonight, which I booked because I knew I'd want to be charging my devices. I wouldn't have enough battery pack to see me through to the end, so I'd booked it as a treat. But then I think because I had the first night, I ended up staying in a B&B. Now I'm like, oh, this feels a bit like an extra decadent treat. So it's about a 2.5-mile walk down to Mothercombe to the cafe where I'm going to get breakfast number 2 because I already have breakfast in my tent. Okay, I've been walking all of about 5 minutes and I need to take layers off. I couldn't get myself out easily this morning because I was cold. I knew I'd have to take things off very soon. Still got my thermal bottoms on as well. And this is where I'm going to stop for breakfast.
The food was great, and although I was feeling pretty battered and had a bit of a cloud over my psyche, I was feeling optimistic about the day ahead and looking forward to some coastal running.
I've left the cafe and I'm waiting for the taxi, which is now 15 minutes late. And I've had a gut feeling that this taxi I booked might have been a scam. But I wanted to book in advance and I googled taxi numbers, found an online booking platform called Brackley Taxis, which is like a third-party booking platform that links you up to local taxi companies. So I paid 70 quid for like what's quite a short taxi ride, but I was like, that's sorted, it's out of the way. Then I never got a confirmation email. the money came out of my account. So this website looked really legit, but I can't find a customer service number, contact number. There've been a lot of like gut feeling that this might have been a scam, and I really can't afford to lose that money and book another taxi, and it's really eating into the day. Like, this is a shorter day, it's only like 25k or something, but it's like 11:30 now, and I might have to pick up a little bit further along whenever I get there, but I'm just really hoping the taxi's running late and that it does turn up.
Well, a little more digging showed me I had been scammed, so I went back into the cafe and spent hours phoning around taxis. Everywhere was busy, I couldn't get picked up till 4:30 p.m, and by that point I gave up on my trail day and went straight to my hotel in Salcombe.
Well, in the end, no hiking or running was done today. Feeling pretty low, like I'm feeling embarrassed about getting scammed. I just feel like it's put a damper on the day and the trip, but I'm trying to pick myself up. And the hotel I'm staying at is amazing. It's the South Sands Hotel. It's so nice. It must be like a 4-star hotel, but it was actually the cheapest place when I was booking. So I'll show you the space. Gorgeous double bed, little balcony. I think there are rooms with views, but mine is just the car park. Little sit spot to watch the world go by. And the bathroom. We have a roll-top bath, which I will absolutely be getting in. A double shower. A little separate nook for the toilet and sink. A little tea and coffee station. Oh my God, slippers. So apparently this is what I look like when I'm fast packing a trail. I've just had a bath, had a lovely soak and a little bath fizzer. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do things like this when you're meant to be fast packing. But actually no one says it has to all be really hard and horrible. I'm on holiday, I can have fun. There's something, I don't know, like in the human psyche around when you're doing an adventure, there must be suffering. And I'm not, like, I don't believe that. I run because I like running. There were mishaps, things happened, and I missed a day of running. And instead I'm lounging, and that is okay. I kind of went to town on the room service. I was going to go into town and look for a pizza or something, but it looks like basically nothing's open in Salcombe when it's out of season.
Despite staying in paradise, another bad night's sleep and wobbly mental health meant I woke up the next morning not really knowing what to do with myself. My intention was to get back on the trail, get moving, and try and find some of that joy I felt on day one again, but I was feeling completely detached from myself. I'm meant to be heading out for day 4. Things really haven't been going well so far, but you know, it's all part of it. Yeah, the plan today had been to go along the southwest coast path from Salcombe to Dartmouth, and that was going to be about 38km a day, and then I was going to wild camp just outside Dartmouth. But honestly, I've just been struggling so much. I didn't share this yesterday because I was kind of feeling okay about it. So I have a history of psychosis, but it is quite in the past. I haven't really had anything recently. And then the night before last, when I was camping, I started having some really scary thoughts that my brain was being controlled from somewhere external, that they were running adverts in my brain, and I was kind of going into like where I was trying to fall asleep whenever I was in the sort of theta state of like half wake, half sleeps, like I'd be in perfectly fine thoughts, and then suddenly adverts would start running, products I wouldn't even buy, and I freaked out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I had sort of the space to realise this probably was just me being scared and me being run down. But anytime I feel like my thoughts are not really my own or I'm not in control of them, it's really, really horrible, and it brings back a very, very difficult time in my life. But then by the morning I was like, okay, I feel normal again. Didn't feel too terrible about it. But then as it came time to go to bed again last night, I started getting panicky about that happening again, started feeling like I couldn't trust my own mind, and then falling asleep yesterday I really struggled to settle. Every time my body got a bit relaxed and into that state where I might drift off, my nervous system obviously didn't like that because of what had happened the night before, and I would start like flinching out of it and having a really strong reaction. I did get sleep in the end, but I feel like my sleep has just been so disrupted and not good over the last few days. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking that today I was going to do a shorter route, not go all the way to Dartmouth, run to Tor Cross, which is about 11 miles, take the bus home from there, spend the night at home, try and have a good night's sleep, try and settle in a kind of space that feels safe, take the bus back out to Dartmouth tomorrow, where I was originally going to stay tonight. So I'd end up missing that bit between Tor Cross and Dartmouth, but then doing the final stretch tomorrow back to the finish. But at the moment, even getting on the trail feels really vulnerable. It feels like I'll be far away from being able to feel safe in myself. I don't know why this has happened now or why it's affecting me. And I know if I just go straight home,
I'm going to be really disappointed. I'm going to feel like this trip was a failure. And it's not, it's all learning. Like, that's the whole point. Like, these things never go to plan. And I think that also I have to acknowledge that as much as I have been mentally well most of the time, I am also someone carrying mental illness that can pop up at any time, and I have to roll with the punches and I have to adapt to that. But it's hard not to feel like I set myself these big goals and have big expectations for myself, and then I pretty much always fall short of them. It's kind of like, I don't want to stop setting big goals for myself. I don't want to stop trying to follow my dreams and do the things that excite me. But it's like, at what point do I realise that the person I think I am is not the person I actually am? But I like stretching my boundaries. I like seeing what my body's capable of, what my mind is capable of, and I want to keep doing these things. It's just hard dealing with the disappointment when it doesn't go to plan. Still got probably like half an hour till I have to check out of this glorious hotel, and then I'd have to catch the ferry over to East Portsmouth to carry on the next bit of the trail. But I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. Like, no option feels like a good option right now.
I headed for the ferry just to see if getting moving on the trail felt possible, but it was clear I wasn't okay. Paranoia was intense, and the priority became getting somewhere safe because I was just scared of everything.
So I didn't end up doing any walking out of Salcombe. I have been feeling really rubbish, really paranoid, really not okay, and I'm getting the bus back into Totnes to go home and just try and feel better. And yeah, then I'll just see how I might feel about coming out another day. When I got home, things didn't just magically go back to normal. I was convinced that with a bit of rest, I'd just be able to get the bus out to Dartmouth and at least do the last leg the next day. But my mental health was still blipping. I had audible notification bells going off in my head. I had intrusive thoughts, and it was a good couple of weeks I was still having to sleep with the light on every night because I was in so much fear. The intensity did fade, but then I went through a couple of weeks of just really erratic motion, real highs that were like to the point of mania, like I stayed up till 5 a.m. writing a rap, and real lows. So I was just, some extreme emotions, just because I thought I'd offended someone, I was crying for hours on end. I felt so detached from my body that I couldn't feel my legs when I was running. I hadn't had such extreme mental health in a long time, and I don't know exactly what caused it. I was kind of going through some medication changes with my ADHD meds. Thankfully, things did level out. It was just a really horrible few weeks. But after all that and kind of coming back to myself again, I really feel like I have unfinished business with the Southam's Way. And please drop me a comment if you've ever had to DNF a race or an adventure because of mental health, because I can't be alone in this. There was a lot of learning for me on this adventure. I've accepted that for now, maybe for me doing a multi-day trail means either planning to stay in accommodation along the way or going with a friend if I'm wild camping until I build up my confidence with that again. It's brought an acceptance that maybe I should plan shorter days on a multi-day trail. I do love the longer days out, but after a 44-kilometre first day, I did not have a lot left in me to complete the trail, and I'm sure that exhaustion can't have been good for my mental health and that overall picture of why I was struggling so much. But the trip was such a reminder that I live for those little moments on the trail. Just the noticing the little things about the plants and the birds and the sounds and the change in season. The interactions I have on the trail. I had an amazing chat with an 85-year-old hiker. It's all about those little moments. But most of all, this trip, despite everything, is a reminder that I like the version of myself I am when I'm out on the trail more than the version of myself I am day to day. I maybe felt that a little bit less on this adventure where I had the psychosis and the dysregulation, which was just horrible. But even with that, while I wouldn't wish that on anybody, the person I am when I'm on the trails just feels real and feels like who I am. A more authentic person than the me that goes to work and socializes and lives in a house share. I just like being on the trails, and I am more myself. Authenticity is one of my core values, and it's something I can drift from a bit if I don't bring intentionality to it. But when I'm out on a trail, I don't have to think about it. It's something that just comes naturally because it's just kind of me and the decisions I need to make and
kind of survival in a really kind of privileged way, I guess. So even though authenticity can sometimes include muddling through with terrible mental health, I know it's better to live my truth than to express the sometimes sanitized version that I have to present to feel like I can survive in the modern world. So while I didn't actually cover that much of the South Hams Way, my adventure gave me so much more than a completed goal. It gave me a greater understanding of my inner world. It gave me resilience, but it also gave me the wisdom to know when to stop and not to forget the pure joy it gave me on day one when I was out on Dartmoor living my best life. And I absolutely intend to fill in some of the gaps, the bits I missed, but it doesn't really matter because it was never really about the trail. I love the trail, I want to explore more of the trail, but really that is just a vehicle for the inner journey. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long one, so give me a comment if you made it to the end. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. For more videos for regular runners, please subscribe to my channel. Stay positive and run your own race. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.